In the previous verse, Mahamati was asking about the reality of the world, the reality of this external world, which we've recently been told is no different from mind only. And mind only is the whole goal of spiritual practice, of enlightenment practice. Mind only is what we always come back to. Mind only is awareness. It's not any special awareness. It's the awareness which you're exercising right now as you listen to this. It's the awareness which is hearing this. And if you're watching a video, it's the awareness that's seeing the video. It's the awareness which is aware of anything else that is going on. Enlightenment practice is about coming back to this awareness and appreciating its true nature. So this is mind only. What's it got to do with this world that seems to be going on? Well, there's always something going on. We can hypothesize times that there is nothing going on. But if there's nothing going on, there's no awareness. So how do we know there's nothing going on? It's simply a hypothesis. As far as we're concerned, there's always something going on. Even if it's in a dream or an hallucination, there's always something going on. This is our experience. There might be times where we don't remember something that's happened. Maybe we passed out or something, and there seems to be some kind of discontinuity. But that discontinuity is also part of our memory. And our memory is full of discontinuities. They're all part of the history that consciousness brings to the moment. Just as when you're in a dream and you meet an old friend that you don't have in the waking state, that old friend has a history, and you've got a history with that old friend. Consciousness creates a history to go with that friend and to go with your interaction with that friend. This is what consciousness does. So, what has mind only got to do with the world? Well, as I was saying, mind only is awareness. The very same awareness you're operating from all the time. And normally we're caught up in discriminating awareness of one thing with awareness of another thing. This is discrimination. But again, by analogy with the dream, let's imagine this is a dream, and this is a dream mouse, and this is a dream glass. In the dream, I can discriminate between the glass and the mouse. But what is the actual distinction between these two things in the dream? Would we say that their atomic structure is different? In fact, do dream objects even have an atomic structure? They do when you're in the dream. But really, all we can say is they're all part of the dream reality. They're all part of the dream mind, the dream consciousness, or simply consciousness. So this is what's going on. This is what's going on. It doesn't matter whether we're asleep or awake. There's a discrimination going on. And we like to think that this discrimination, we're awake now, we're awake. So in the waking state we say, well, yes, these two are different things. They've got different atomic structure. But when you come back to mind only, well, mind only is the same as consciousness, the same as what I just described as dream consciousness. So mind only is this awareness, this realization of pure being, which is no longer discriminating. It realizes that all of this is of the one nature, not in any intellectual sense, not in any sense that everything's interrelated. That's just an intellectual understanding, which is very nice in its own way. But only by stepping back from the discriminating process can we realize that everything is actually awareness. Without awareness, there would be nothing. We can only hypothesize that there would be things, but that's just a hypothesis. We're coming back to here. We're not interested in constructing a reality out there. We're not interested in taking our cue from a reality out there. So let's see what the Buddha actually replied to Mahamoodi's question. His question was that the mind, the capital M, being asserted, how is it that this does not give rise to realism? In other words, taking the world as real. And the Buddha replies in verse 651, discrimination is neither existent nor non-existent. Therefore realism does not arise. As it is clearly understood that what is seen is of mind only, no discrimination is set to work. So again, this is spiritual practice. The second part of this verse is spiritual practice. As it is clearly understood that what is seen is of mind only, no discrimination is set to work. The first part tells us that discrimination is neither existent nor non-existent, and I'll say more about that particular description in the next verse. But really what we want to understand here is the world as mind only. Now in the past I've had a bit of trouble with this. Can I say that this glass with water in it is simply awareness? How can I say this? It can be quite problematical because this glass is quite different from this mouse, this wireless mouse. And that difference in appearance, in texture, in colour, in function, identifies them as different objects. But these are discriminations. These are discriminations going on. It's these discriminations which give them reality. Awareness is an essential part of any object. Otherwise we wouldn't know about it. And what else is there to these objects? Well, as I said before, we would say, well, there are atoms. These objects are made up of atoms, different combination of atoms. But how real is that? If you're an atomic physicist, it's perhaps real. But I've looked into this in the past. Even an atomic physicist does not live his or her life in accordance with the belief that everything is atoms. Otherwise, how could they enjoy music? How could they enjoy poetry, art? How could they fall in love? All the rest of it. That's a reality, not atoms. Feelings are what are real, not atoms. Atoms are a conceptual framework which we like to allude to when it suits us, but they are not part of our daily reality. We don't even know what they are. We could say that these objects have different characteristics which draw our attention to them. But these characteristics are created here. Colour, for example, is a subjective characteristic. We can describe colour objectively as different wavelengths of light of the electromagnetic spectrum. But again, we're not relating to a particular vibrational frequency. We're relating to a characteristic which is created here, the subjective experience of colour. And so it is with all the senses. Science tells us that the senses are transducers. They turn certain amount of information, they turn certain types of information into electricity, and somehow, somewhere, deep within our brain, these electrical signals are transformed to all the characteristics of the phenomenal world. I've always found this quite far-fetched, but there we go. The point is, even science says it's all happening here, not out there. And all these characteristics are also dependent on awareness. My eyes are not like a camera. My ears are not like microphones. My eyes work in conjunction with awareness. I'm aware that I am seeing things. I'm not simply seeing things like a camera does. I'm aware that I'm seeing things. So awareness is actually the sole reality of any object. And if we're worried about the differences in objects, this is because of discrimination. And if we think back to the dream, we discriminate different objects in the dream, but we can accept that in the dream, these objects really aren't different. They're all the part of the dream mind. They're all part of dream consciousness. They're all part of consciousness. This is how it is with this. All of this. It's the one awareness, the one mind, which discrimination operates within. It creates useful notions of an external reality, but these notions are ultimately limiting. So as enlightenment practitioners, we drop them. We drop them. We drop the discriminations. As enlightenment practitioners, no discrimination is set to work. This is our practice.